Thank you for calling ABC Heating and Cooling. This is Wally. How may we save you money today?
Yeah, I'm interested in finding out a little bit more about a new home comfort system.
Okay, awesome. Well, that certainly is our business. Do you mind if I ask your name, sir?
Sure, of course, it's John
And John, your last name?
Ketchel.
John Ketchel. Awesome. John, if you don't mind me asking, how did you find out about us?
You know, I was driving out of the neighborhood and I saw one of your trucks, so I figured I'd give you a call. I went online and you guys were there, so.
Awesome. What part of town are you in?
I'm in the northeast side.
Okay, northeast side. Well, we were just up there, it looks like in your neighborhood just a week or so ago, so that probably was the day that you saw the trucks. Well, listen, we really appreciate you calling in. Let me give you a little bit of an idea of how this process works in terms of you going from an older system to a new system. What's the age of your current system, John, if you happen to know?
Well, it's the original equipment. I bought the house 10 years ago, and I was not the original owner. I would say about 17 years old.
Okay, so yeah, it's definitely at the tail end of its life, losing a lot of efficiency, probably not as comfortable as it used to be as well. Probably lost
it seems to be always on.
Yeah, awesome.
Never stops.
Never stops. Well, let me explain to you a little bit about how we handle this process. You may have called other companies by now, John. In many cases, contractors will simply just ask you the square footage of your home and try to properly size your system based on square footage. Have you had any conversations like that?
Yeah, I actually called two other companies and they both asked me that question.
Yeah. Well, here's why that really is a significant thing to consider. When we send our guys out, their number one priority is to properly measure your home and to properly size your system. The Department of Energy estimates that well over half of all HVAC systems are improperly installed and improperly sized. And the reason they're improperly sized is because they've done kind of what the two companies you've called have done. They just get your square footage and they think they know the size of the system. Well, Consumer Reports and Department of Energy cautions us to be leery of contractors who do that. And here's the reason why. The bottom line is your house, the exact same floor plan across a different part of town that has a different orientation towards the sun, maybe different attic insulation, different siding, maybe different types of windows. Those changes can dramatically change the energy usage and the load demands of the system on the identical floor plan. And so the reason that Department of Energy recommends and that we do this load calculation is to make sure the system is properly sized. It's critically important. Because your current system, you said it's running all the time, there's a pretty good chance it's undersized, which of course is the opposite problem. But you don't want your system running 24/7 and then not even doing the cooling that you expect from that. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I walk in front of the sliding glass door and you could feel the temperature change. It just gets warmer.
Awesome. Well, we're definitely going to take care of that. By the way, I couldn't help but notice a little dog in the background there. What kind of dog do you have?
It's my wife's dog. It's a Shih Tzu.
A Shih Tzu? And is it a little puppy boy or a little puppy girl?
Well, these things never get bigger than 6 pounds, so they all seem to be a little puppy, but it's a boy.
Little boy. What's his name?
Theo.
Theo. Well, say hi to Theo for him. We look forward to getting a chance to make the house more comfortable for him as well. At any rate, John, this process of measuring the house, which, we're going to go room by room, look at the windows, attic insulation, a lot of different factors. This process can take about 60 to 90 minutes, depending on how many questions that you have and, depending how long it takes to measure the house. One of the things, John, that's really helpful in this whole situation to you and your family in this process is to make sure we get both homeowners involved in the design process. The reason that's important is that when we design a system, John, we guarantee that it's going to be perfect. We also guarantee that you and your wife are going to love it. And the last thing that we want is to design a perfect system for you, but then there are some accessories or perhaps indoor air quality products or other features or accessories that maybe your wife did want or didn't want, and bottom line is she doesn't like the system. And what that does, obviously, puts a big burden on us to make sure the system satisfies everybody. So we like to get both homeowners involved in the design process. So given the fact it's going to take 60 to 90 minutes, depending on how many questions you have, and that it's beneficial for you to have both homeowners involved in the design process. Is there a time that we could come out and meet with both you and your wife?
That's going to be a little bit of a problem. We kind of work opposite schedules.
Okay.
So it's going to be tough to get us both in the same place at a time. And listen, I know my wife, so I'm pretty confident that I know what she's going to want.
Right.
Is it really a big deal?
Well, it kind of is. On the other hand, we want to be respectful of your time and your wife's schedule as well. But I would like to extend this offer, John. We can come out at times that are really convenient for you and your wife. This decision, it's really about you. it's really about your wife. It's not about our convenience, right? It's about coming out when it works for you. As I mentioned, it's very important to get you both involved in the design process because we want to make sure that your wife loves the system. And the reality is, buying a heating and air conditioning system today, John, is a little bit like buying a car. There are so many different variables in designs and technology and efficiency and this and that and the other. I mean, if you were going to go buy a family car, would you get your wife involved in that process?
Yeah, I better. I'd be in big trouble.
Hey, man, if I brought a new car home without checking with my wife and having her pick it out, I might be homeless or something like that. So, but it's not that much different with a heating and air conditioning system. Back in the day, 15, 20 years ago, HVAC systems were HVAC systems. But today there's such a huge variety and accessories and indoor air quality products and different fan operations, from continuous fan to modulating fans to off and on fans, all these different variables, different efficiencies, just a huge amount of different options. And so it's a little more difficult perhaps to buy an air conditioning system than it would have been 15 years or so ago. So because of those variables, it's really important that we get your wife involved in the process. Now, having said that, we can come at a very convenient time. We can come out in the evenings. We can even come out on a weekend. Whatever time would work for you and your wife. Have to be a Saturday morning?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we can certainly make that happen. How about 10 a.m. this Saturday, John? That'll give you guys a little time to sleep in and have some breakfast, take Theo for a walk, and then we can have, we're going to have Winston come out actually and have this discussion with you about a new system.
9 would be better. If
Okay.
it's going to take an hour and a half, this way that'll at least give us the second half of the day to hang out.
That makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. Well, John, let me get a little more information from you and we'll get this all set up.
You got it.